Today I'm going for our first run in the Endorphin Speed. .00 miles, 7 minutes, 42 seconds per mile, 151 beats per minute, going for a first run in the Endorphin Speed, a shoe that I've been very excited about running in all summer long, and it's finally here. But before I get to my thoughts on this shoe and how it differs from something like the Endorphin Pro, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that I purchased with my own money. No one sent it to me. No one's reimbursing me for any purchase price. And no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with the disclosures out of the way, let's talk about the Endorphin Speed. Now this is a shoe full of Power Run PB, which is a racing version of the Power Run foam that Saucony has unleashed on us for 2020. Power Run is a foam that I've been really excited about in all of its incarnations, whether it's just regular Power Run in the Kinvara or Power Run Plus in the Triumph 17. It looks like Boost, but it's better than Boost. It does what Boost is supposed to do, but it does it in a better way, and it's lighter as well. And with the Power Run PB, it's a slightly firmer version of that midsole foam that is very well suited to racing. In addition, we've got plenty of stack height in this shoe. We've got 27.5 millimeters of foam in the forefoot with an 8 millimeter drop, and you got a nylon plate in here for a little bit of extra something for your run there, and it comes in at 7.8 ounces. So not the lightest shoe on the market, but definitely in that lightweight category. The upper here is just an absolutely fantastic material, proof that Saucony can make an upper that isn't super sweaty. It is comfortable. You've got a moderate amount of padding for a fast day shoe, but in terms of the upper, you've got lots of holes in this mesh here. It keeps you locked in nice and tight without being too snug on the foot. So very comfortable. I love the execution, and I love the design of this particular mesh pattern as well. I had no problems with it. There's a lot of overlays though, especially in the back, in the heel. There is a little bit of a heel cup for those of you who want that, a little bit of extra kind of motion control back here. And there's also this kind of reflective wing. I'm not really sure what that does, but it's there. So what was it like for me to run in this shoe on this day? So for this particular run, it was a 15-mile run total with 4x2 mile intervals at about marathon effort. And these shoes were absolutely fantastic to get up to those marathon speeds for me. I was able to just get there and lock in, set it and forget it. And it was just an absolute pleasure to run in this shoe. The Power Run PB, while it might feel a little bit firm and a little bit tall in terms of the amount that they have in this shoe when just walking around, when you're getting up into those faster speeds, it feels just right. And so none of those things that might be concerns at slow, like walking around the store testing long kind of speeds, those all kind of just melt away once you get up to your paces in this shoe. Very pleasant to run in. This is a shoe that I can easily see is using as not only a long fast day trainer on workouts just like this, but I can easily see racing an entire marathon. It's got enough cushion in that forefoot to give me the comfort that I need for those later miles, but it's also got that springiness because of the foam and because of that plate that's in here to make it feel like a snappy shoe that will help me push myself to those limits when I'm trying to race a marathon and shoot for that next PB. Ultimately, all around, I think that at $160, it's expensive for a running shoe, but for a running shoe that you could do a lot of your training in and racing in, I think it's actually a fantastic value and a very fun shoe to run in. Probably one of my favorite shoes to run in so far this year. Now, I think the main thing to talk about though in terms of this Endorphin Speed is that it's part of a 3-shoe set from Saucony this year. There's the Endorphin Pro, there's the Endorphin Speed, and the Endorphin Shift. I've got the Endorphin Pro over here as well, and to compare them, this isn't exactly a versus video, but I think it's hard to not talk about one when you're talking about the other. So in terms of stack height, they're on paper the same. In terms of their weight, they're just about the same, with the Pro being just a little bit lighter, I think 0.3 ounces lighter, and they have the same foam on the inside, and they both have plates. Now, there's some differences though. I actually think I might prefer the Speed over the Pro. When I was in the Pro, I just felt like it was a little bit tall, and that was a little bit uncomfortable for me. It made me have to think about it a little bit more than I wanted to when running in this shoe. I definitely also got a very strong sense of that carbon fiber plate that's in here, which was a very good thing, but not necessarily the determinative factor into choosing which shoe I might race a marathon in. Now, when it comes to the Endorphin Speed, there is a nylon plate that's in here, and I think what it ultimately means is I think it might be cheaper than a carbon fiber plate, and I also think it might be a little bit less rigid. And so one of the things that does for me though is it maybe addresses one of the problems that I had with this shoe in terms of the Pro. Now, I noted that when I was running in the Endorphin Pro, it's a great shoe. I mean, it's hard to, I'm not knocking it because it is a fantastic marathon racer for sure. But some of the issues that I had with it were that while I really enjoyed the carbon fiber push-off of the shoe, I felt like I wasn't getting the full benefit of it. And I noticed that mostly when I was running downhill. I could run downhill just incredibly fast with this. The high stack height didn't matter, and the carbon fiber plate really started to come to life when I was putting a little bit of extra load into the shoe, and I think as my foot was hitting the ground on those downhill portions. And I started to wonder if maybe I'm not heavy enough or fast enough, probably likely not fast enough, to run and get the full benefit of what this Endorphin Pro has to offer. Then when we switch it up to the Endorphin Speed, it has a nylon plate, which I think might be a little bit less rigid. And what that does is for someone that's a little bit slower, it has more like regular person type of speeds, I can actually load this nylon plate in an appropriate way and get the full kind of like response from it. And so I'm still the same weight of a person when I run in the Speed versus the Pro, but because I'm not super fast, I'm probably not putting as much force into each step as, say, an elite level runner. And I think that makes this shoe a better kind of fit, so to speak, for me. I'm not sure. It's going to take a little bit more testing for me to really figure that out, and a lot more closer head-to-head testing between those two shoes. But I am trying to keep in mind that I ran in this shoe after a much overdue rest day, and so that can also factor into it. But it's been a long time since I had this much fun running in a shoe right out of the box, and I'm just really impressed with the Endorphin Speed in a way that the Endorphin Pro just didn't quite move me. So I'm not sure how to explain it. Maybe the real benefit is that this is the shoe for everybody, and the Endorphin Pro might be the shoe for pros. So maybe that's another way to look at them. But from the first run, this is the impressions that I got. So testing will definitely continue. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. For those of you who have tested this shoe, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments down below. I'd love to keep talking to you guys about it more down there. That's all I have for today. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I will see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?